Hi Anna, so let's take a look at the new set of essays you sent to us. Okay, this one is about travel, domestic and international travel. So let's see what you wrote here. Okay, with the advent of affordable transportation nowadays, there is a significant rise in traveling to other countries or to other cities. Critics argue that this rising phenomenon is advantageous, careful with your spelling, while others believe the opposite. In this essay, I will expand on both views and I will support that with evidence. Okay, that's lovely. I like it because you say that you're going to talk about both views. You don't give your opinion. You don't have to because it just says discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Nowhere does it say you must include your own opinion. You didn't do that, and that was appropriate. Okay, so let's see what you wrote after that. What would be better, excuse me, what would be better than exploring new places and releasing? Okay, it's exploring, releasing. And the and here is your clue. So what would be better than exploring new places and releasing some stress? Indeed, touring in a new place that one has never been to is an amazing experience, not only to enjoy the natural or cultural variety, but also to let out some of the tension that is caused by one's hectic lifestyle. All right, I like this, but it's not a full sentence. It's actually a fragment because there's no real it's missing something. I almost felt like you should have had a comma after experience and then continue with this, but this on its own is not a full sentence. What you could have done here is you could have said not only can one enjoy the nature or cultural variety. Wait a minute. No, let's try that again. Not only can one enjoy the natural or cultural variety, but also let out some of the tension that is caused by one's hectic lifestyle. All right, that's a good way of doing it as well. This way you use inversion. It's considered a higher level grammatical phenomenon. It's always nice to see. It's always a pleasure when I see it in essays because it is rather rare and rather advanced. Okay, so moving on. A recent study from Harvard University has shown that people who travel more have 70% less chance of, less chance of suffering from a mental disease. In short, the benefits are not only discovering, get rid of discovering and enjoying new places, but also for one's well-being. Without the for. Excuse me again, I'm sorry about that. This is good. It does feel a little underdeveloped to me. It feels a little short and like there was more you could have said. Let's see where you could have done that. First of all, I would have liked a clearer topic sentence. So something along the lines of, everyone is very familiar with the advantages of travel. Okay, and then this felt like a lot. This felt pretty much like a repeat of this sentence, which is another reason why I felt like it wasn't really developed. Your one example here was this thing about Harvard, which was fine. Although I think, like I said, I think there was more you could have said in terms of the advantages. So what did you tell us? You said that you have a lesser chance of having some sort of mental illness, and that's an appropriate word here, really, mental illness, not a disease. But you didn't really explore anything about the natural variety or the cultural variety. So I would have liked to see something more about that too. If you're not going to expand upon it, then there's really no point in mentioning it, is it? Is there? You could have said something, I don't know, anything really about how people's worldview changes when they experience different cultural elements from other countries, or people who travel have a more open mind and are more accepting of people from different cultures, races, and religions. I mean, there are so many things you could have said, okay? But like I said, since you mentioned it here, the natural and cultural variety, I think it's important to actually expand on it a little bit too, because you really only had this one thing about mental disease. Let's see. And it does say advantages and disadvantages. So like I said, well, I'll say it one last time, I think it needed a little bit of support there. All right, let's move on. On the other hand, the skyrocketing trend of traveling has some drawbacks related to the increasing accidents and the crippling budget constraints. Okay. I would have gotten rid of these thes here. When you use a the in front of a plural, it's as if we know which crippling budget restraints and increasing accidents you're talking about, but we don't because this is the first time you've mentioned either of them. So related to increasing accidents and crippling budget constraints. As the number of aircraft, vehicles, and boats has risen, more accidents have been observed, and ultimately more people have been injured or unfortunately died during their journey. For example, statistical review, careful with your typing here, published in Malaysia's Star Journal, show that the accidents on the interstate highway without the apostrophe s during weekends is double the figure during weekdays due to here we go, the heavy traffic caused by the tremendous number of travelers. The other con is the financial strains. Okay, this should be singular. The other con is the financial strain caused by frequent traveling. Since this trend is becoming more and more popular, people feel that they are inclined to do so. That's not really clear that what this to do so refers to. It's a nice grammatical structure, but it also has to be clear what it refers to. Here it is not. Okay. Since the trend is becoming more and more popular, other people feel they are inclined. How can you say this? How about people feel pressured perhaps to travel? And as a result, this comes at the loss of funds that are allocated to that should be allocated to other needs like education. All right, this is certainly more developed. This is what I kind of wanted in the other paragraph, where you had a couple of different main ideas and you explored both of them, you extended them. In other words, there's no point in mentioning a main idea if you're not going to explore it, support it, explain it, develop it, okay? So keep that in mind. However, in an essay like this where it talks about advantages, plural, and disadvantages, plural, you have to do that, okay? All right, so overall, with every advantage, there is a disadvantage. Traveling more widens one's horizons and aids mental health. On the other hand, it causes more accidents and shortage in budget. Okay, that's good. So I like this. I like this quite a bit. But as I said, there were a couple of problems. One of them was the development here. All right, it needed to be developed in the area that I mentioned already. And then there were little pesky grammar things happening here and there. The grammar was good. The grammar was very high level, but there still were some mistakes kind of consistently thrown about the essay. Those are the two areas I want you to look out for, okay? See if you can improve them. I know we've got more essays coming, so keep working on it. You're doing great. I hope the feedback is helping, and I hope it's giving you some food for thought and understanding of where you need to improve. But those were the two areas that I would like to see you work on in this next set. Okay, let's take a look now at your task 1. I did it backwards for some reason. I don't know why, but that's okay. All right, so you had a question about what this refers to. When you don't know, you can just say the word units, really, because we don't know. I mean, you would presume that it's people. You would presume because it says young adults, preferences, and it does say worldwide, and I realize that that's rather strange. So what are you saying, that only 137 worldwide liked action? That doesn't make sense. But since we don't know, we can only use what is given to us. Okay, we can't make any assumptions. We can't assume it's like 137 million or something like that because we just don't have that information. It's not been given to us. So you have to work with the information you have. If you want, you could call them viewers. Otherwise, you can use the word units, which sounds a little strange in this context, but you don't really have a lot of options here. Okay, so let's see what you said. The given bar chart illustrates the global prevalence of 6 types of movies among both genders. Overall, it is obvious that males attend more movies than females at any given type, except for drama and romantic movies where females supersede males. That's not really a word. I think you mean superseded. I think that's what you meant here, okay? So you're missing a syllable. All right, that's fine. Let me just check your overview. You said that males watched more movies than females, except for drama and, let's see. So females in romantic, we know that's true, and then drama. All right, that's fine. All right, so let's see what you said. Of all the given types, comedy is by far the most popular one at 145 points. Careful. For boys and 137 points for girls. Careful. Boy and girl is basically anyone under 18. You don't know that to be the case here. The task refers to them as young adults, and young adults makes you think, well, an adult is over 18. So it's someone who is 18 or slightly older. All right. So it's inappropriate to call them boys and girls. It's not an appropriate synonym. You could have called them males and females. You could have called them men and women. Either of those words would be fine. Okay. So the second in popularity, comedy, okay. The second in popularity is action movies, yet with a wider difference between males and females, more than a third at 137 points for the former and 82 points for the latter. Good. Romantic subtype, the romantic subtype showed an inverse pattern compared to action films, where the popularity among females is 4 times that of the males. That's what's missing here to make this grammatically correct. At 116 points and 131 points, respectively. All right, now what are you saying here? Action. Okay, an inverse pattern. Yes. Okay, let's continue. Although women attended, well, it's not that they attended, they preferred. Although women preferred drama more, there is a smaller difference between the sexes with 32 points more for women. All right, that's a little unclear, this whole sentence here. Okay, and also I have a question mark in my head about this inverse pattern. I guess I know what you're saying, except that the figures aren't really inverse, because if they were, that would mean that, hold on. For it to be an inverse pattern, and that's as if like the males here are 137 and 82, and in the other one it's 137 and 82. Okay, so that would be more accurate, but this isn't really. I like the expression and I like your thinking, although I don't know how appropriate it is. I do have a big question mark in my head there. Okay. Now I just read through this one more time, and there's another area where I had a little bit of an issue. It's right here. We said the second in popularity is action movies. That's not really true. It's only the second most popular for boys. So I didn't see where that was appropriate for women. So that was something you needed to change. In other words, there's some inaccuracy. That's one of the reasons why I'm struggling reading this. So comedy is by far the most popular genre, would have been a nice word here, at 145 points for boys and 137 points for girls. The second most popular for men is action movies, yet with a wider difference between males and females, more than a third. Okay, and then this was fine. Then here you could have said the second most popular type for women was romance. With let's see. Oh, how can you say this? With, I don't know, a stark difference in the preference between men and women for the where since the popularity among females is 4 times that of the males. Okay, that would have been better. All right, so then we already talked about this. So let's move on to your last paragraph. Animation horror movies showed a narrow margin of difference between males and females, only 9 to 11 points. Both types of movies are attended by more males than females. Okay, fine. All right, so there was a lot of stuff that I really liked. Again, a lot of natural language, except that you had some inaccuracy here, and you weren't really precise, okay, when you were talking about action movies, and then this whole thing about the inverse pattern. So there was some inaccuracy and some imprecision there, and that's the stuff that I want you to look out for. All right, go ahead and correct these. We've got another set coming from you, so I'll be waiting, and good luck.